All right, part two. We're going to start off with the small caps here, the IWM, before we get into the dozen individual stocks. This is the IWM for the past few years. You can see this top preceding the tempered tantrum. You can see this top preceding the COVID crash. And then you see this thing, which makes these other guys look like complete pipsqueaks. This is a gargantuan top. And we hammered out this range for an agonizingly long period. Had this fake failed breakout right here. This is peak despondency right over here. This is November 8th, which began a big fall in this, which double bottomed here. We had a bottom on Jan 28 and another on Feb 24, and now we're range bound, just like we were range bound back here. And God forbid that this go on for a year like this bastard did. But what we want to see, of course, is a failure of this level, which would pretty much bring calamity at that point. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on earth holding this monster up. But even short term, the bears are in a better position than the bulls, because we are, even within the confines of this range, rather loftily perched. Having said that, let's jump into the next dozen. And as I said, I'll attempt to mention the items that I'm specifically in. And I will say, incidentally, there are 3 ETFs I'm in, which aren't mentioned explicitly in this list. It's not part of my bear pen. That's IWM, IYR, and EZU. So anyway, here's Big Lots, BIG. I'm in this one. Massive head and shoulders on this. Boot Barn. We've got a nice topping pattern here delineated by this horizontal. I'm in this one. Burlington Stores, BURL. Massive, big, fat, long top on that one. I'm in this one. CBRE, which is commercial real estate, I believe. And as you can see here, this is also the propensity to top out. We're well below this long-term broken trend line. And as we zoom in here, we can see this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful head and shoulders pattern with a squeaky clean neckline. I'm doubly impressed just viewing it with fresh eyes here. This is a terrific looking pattern. Cracker Barrel, CBRL. This one I've tried trading a few times. It just doesn't like me. I don't work very well with it. We have a personality clash, but I still think it's horrendously overvalued. I am in this one though, Cadence Design, CDNS. This is one of those that I wish I had been a little more patient. But this is the line limit for me on this one, 168.61. Continental Resources. This is probably the worst of the 72 with respect to pattern, but it's just really pricey. It just seems like it's kind of itching to break that trend line. So there's nothing. I would also say that it has shown a good ability to fall hard, but this one there's nothing objectively bearish about it. It's just, it'd be so cool to break that line. Then the thing's going to like have years of downward motion. Chipotle, this is one I don't trade either, just because it's incredibly expensive options. They make these kind of completely middling burritos, and they're crazily overvalued. This is famously overvalued company, P of about 70, to sell like utterly blasé attempts at Mexican food, but there you have it. Cummins, CMI, beneath its massive lifelong broken wedge, it goes back to the 80s, and we've got a beautiful right triangle on this one. Love it, love it, love it. Capital One Finance. I'll mention as an aside that of my 30 positions, there's no sector more represented than finance. 9, I believe, out of my 30 positions are finance related. This is one of them, COF. Wonderful setup. Crocs, very big back in the day, and still very valuable, but clearly breaking down from its laughable peak of in the 180s. We're lost well more than 50% of its value so far, and I dare say it has a long way to go. And then finally, Caesars, CZR, pretty sloppy top on this one, but seems to be breaking down. It's a slow mover. It looks to me like. All right, that's it for this chunk.